Hey, we're back to another exciting episode of Attack Productions. Today I'm back up once again by Jimmy.
Yes, sir.
And he's brought us a deck we finally get a chance to see at our locals, and that's Shroom and Salsa. Not a red deck. Fantastic. I wasn't here actually during most of the matches, so I didn't get a chance to really experience. Apparently me and Jimmy did battle it out, and he decimated me because like I was in the shower room or something. I don't know, it's kind of weird. But like always, enjoy.
Yep. So I took, or I tied for second with Shroom and Salsa today. The deck is very fair, is the best way to describe it. It is not a very overtuned deck like everything else is in this format, but it is really fun. I'm a historic black player, so I was kind of drawn to this deck. I don't think I'll return to it because it was a headache to play. But on the front side, when you attack, you burst the top two to the warp, which is really interesting. So you're going to be playing a lot from the warp. Your awaken is if you have 6 or more black cards, and also you get a top 5 search off the burst. But your awaken, if you have 6 or more black cards, take yourself down to 6, warp 1 card from your hand, draw 2, and untap 1. So it's a very strong awaken for a relatively weak leader. On the backside, really strange. If you combo, the card doesn't go to the drop area. It gets removed from the game. So you're kind of punished for over comboing on attacks because you only want to combo 1 just to put it into your Z energy really quick. And then auto, you warp a Demon Realm Race or a Demon God, and you draw 2 cards, which is always nice. We're seeing a lot of black leaders getting this warp 1, draw 2. And then activate battle, you get to combo with a non-super combo Demon God or Demon Realm Race, which is hugely relevant, which is probably the best part of this leader. I usually save the Z deck for last, but I'll just go ahead and go over them because of how important they are, and by important, I mean this card is absolute fucking detritus. If this had Barrier or Deflect, it would be fantastic. I think this is more suited for like a Overwhelm list. I find that your energy is so tight, and this is just too steep of a cost for its effect. I would love to be proven wrong. I'm going to build a Demigrid list very soon, so expect that, utilizing this card. So keep an eye out for that. But I think in this list, it is just not very, very good. But you do, when you play a card from your warp, you're not really overwhelming or dark overwhelming a lot in this deck. You will draw 1 card and then warp one of your opponent's battle cards, 6 or less, which is fantastic. But just with how little protection and how steep of a cost it is, it's just not really worth running. But what is worth running is the Z Leader. This card is kind of bonkers. It's a double strike. You tap 1. You do have to be a 2 or less life, which is kind of bad. But for activate main, you get to look at the bottom card of your deck. If it's a 3-drop servant, you get to play it for free. Again, very relevant with this list. And then activate battle, you get to combo with 2 cards from your warp that are not super combos. Most of the games that I've won has been surprising my opponent with this card, and another reason why I say I don't think I'm going to play this deck again, because now everybody's going to be expecting this. It's not going to catch them off surprise, because you can swing with your regular leader, get your auto, get your activate battle, then Z awaken, then get your additional combos, and you have a very, very big leader. But I think that trick only works once. Moving into the main deck, we got our top 5 searchers, which will also burst 2 to the warp, which is very nice. And when this card is comboed from the warp, it gains 1,000 combo power, which is nice. Not the most relevant thing ever, but it is nice and it's something to talk about. But you want to see one of these early on because you want to get a lot of cards in your warp so that you can awaken quickly. Another option for that is our Mecha Gabora. He's a Overlord, and you will draw 1 and then burst 2 to the warp, and then has an activate main for 3, where you get to look at the bottom card, and if it's a card with Servant, you get to play it. This does not have a restriction on it, so you can play your big boy 8-drop, which we'll get into later on, where the Z Leader has the restriction if it has to be 3 or less. So for free, you get to do this, and for 3 energy, you get to do any of your Servants. Another 1-drop. We got our Demon God Shroom and Salsa, or just Demon God Shroom, my bad. So this reduces by 1 if you have 2 or more black cards in your warp, and when it attacks, draw 1, warp 2 off the top of the deck. 10k body, good early game, trash late game. Getting into the main package, we got our Servant Salsas. Of course, Servant, 10k, so it's a 20k body. When Salsa comes in, they will put one from the top of your deck into the warp, and then your opponent sends one card from their hand to the warp. This is the one that I found to be most relevant. Of course, I have had limited testing with this, so the Shroom might also be very, very good, but this is the one that I'm wanting to play most. Both of them will have a activate battle that if you have a opposite in the combo area, very similar to like Gogeta GT with the Gokus and Vegetas, if you have a Shroom, you can play the Salsa. If you have Salsa, you can play the Shroom. And it's 1 black energy, and you warp a card from your hand, which will fuel your warp, and it's actually not really much of a cost. For the Dean God Shrooms, also Servant, but this one, when it attacks, you will put the top card of your deck into the warp, and then you will warp a 4-drop battle card from your opponent's field, which is nice, but in a lot of matchups, it's not very relevant because they're either barriers or they're above 4, or they just don't even play battle cards. Same activate battle, so you can get into some combos where you like combo a Salsa, play your Shroom, warp the Salsa you're about to play the Salsa, then warp another card for later on. It's kind of a headache once learning the deck, but once you learn it, it's pretty simple. A card that is pretty much solely used for the combo area is the Champ Pack Shroom and Salsa. So pretty much this card's entire text is irrelevant, other than the character name. So this satisfies both Shroom and Salsa and is a free combo. So for 1 card, you will satisfy both of your Shroom and Salsa rivals. The auto could be relevant, warping cards out of your opponent's drop area, but with the way decks combo, there's going to be so many battle cards in your opponent's drop area. This is really only relevant in like Halo Coup, where they're warping their entire drop area all the time, and then for 1 energy, you can play this, and it'll get like double strike and shit, but you're just going to be comboing this off to satisfy your rivals. We got our Mechikoboras. So this has a activate main for 1. If you have 6 or more black cards in your warp, you just play this card. Overlord, and then on attack, you will just combo with a card from your warp, Demon God, same as the rest of the deck. Which is really nice, fuels your Z energy, and also is just kind of a nice battle card. It's one of those cards that gets under Violent Rays, which red being so prevalent, having these out is really nice because you can get under Violent Ray and still have a pretty much a base 20k attacker. Our big boys, Shroom and Salsa, the SR, is a double strike servant, so it's 35,000 relevant number. Permanent, if this card's removed from the combo area or battle area, it just goes to the bottom of the deck. Like the 1-drop Mechikobora, you could just like combo this off and pay 3 and then play it back out, or you could bottom deck it with Overlord and then play it back out again. But on play, you will warp one of your opponent's battle cards and 1 card from their hand. They do get to choose, but it does ignore barrier, so not fantastic, but it's okay. And then it has an activate battle for 2 energy. If you have 3 or more energy and there are 2 cards in your combo area, you can play this card out from your hand or warp. Which I don't think I've mentioned that on the others. All of these cards can play from the warp or the hand, except for this Mechikobora. He has to play from the hand. So this is the card you want to be pretty much mulliganing for most of the time, is getting this card in hand. But this card is fantastic. It is a great black boss monster. That being said, it's kind of undertuned compared to every other deck right now. Every other boss monster is just significantly better than this. But I do like the card, I like the design of it, and I really hope that we get more support for this package, because I would love to be able to play these cards and actually have a competent deck with it. Super combos of choice, the Demon God Salsa. It's just a 4 or less life, draw 1. I played this to satisfy the your combos, and it's also searchable. I found that when I was playing Vegeta, I just kept bursting them off the top, and it's just I never had them in hand. So when I do see these off like my top 5 search, I will just always grab one of these. Since we're playing from the warp, 2 trunks, it's pretty good because if you do want to play your Overwhelm cards, which there are a couple, you will need cards in your drop area, and on your Awakened side, you cannot easily put cards in drop areas. So you either need to be playing Z battle cards, or you need to be playing this trunks to put cards back into the drop area. Another option is the Gohan Unison. I have not casted this once. I'm actually considering just completely cutting this Unison altogether because there's really not a fantastic Unison for this list. I think the Mira Unison from the I forgot the name of the expansions. It's like the Namekian boost and whatever boost. Basically, the Mira Unison, you +1, warp a card from your hand, draw 1. It'll fuel your warps, and you can throw shit in there, and you'd get some value off of it. I would just run that over this card, just completely ignore this card, play something else. Don't play Gohan because it's ass.
To be put in the text, play something else.
Yeah.
Okay.
SS3 tag team, it's black staple. You're going to be overlording a lot, so just getting a free blocker or just free 15k attack is really nice. So definitely worth playing. 2 Genius Craft. This has come up in one single matchup. Other than that, it's just been absolute ass. So it's activate main. You will warp a battle card equal or less than your opponent's total energy cost, and then draw a card. I like this over the other one, which I'm forgetting the name of the card. But that one is you warp a card out of your opponent's drop area, which can be relevant, but drawing a card is usually better. 2 Allies, again, another card that is fantastic, but really has just not come up. I will probably just swap these out for max power. I thought being able to just tap energy instead of having to take life and also getting the extra effect is nice. But whatever. Our negate package, support. Petrification. Best black negate in the entire game. I found myself tapping out most of the time, so I only ran one of these. You could probably get away with running more, but I do think Support of the Dark Empire is the best negate for the deck. Because you do want to take yourself down to 2s for your Z Awaken. Getting into a bunch of 1-ofs. Trunks. Sometimes you warp something you want to grab back, so that's your option. Champa, specifically the French one, you have to run that one or the deck doesn't work. Massayan, sneaky activate battle. I like it, and it's a free overrealm if you do have the overrealm space. Dark Broly, again, free overrealm, but it's also important that you can play this card for 2 from your warp, and you do get to remove one of your opponent's battle cards. It does suck that it's a 0 combo, but whatever. Thwarting the Dark Empire, it's still relevant, still really good. I would have won my last game and took first if I actually played this damn card, but watch the video for that. And then Pan Secret Rare, because Bancroft forgot to bring me the Boob Secret Rare. But this card is actually kind of clutch. I do think you could get away with either Pan or the Supreme Kai Brainwash. Or you could go crazy and run Rebelu like I was before I decided to actually be smart and run a good Secret Rare.
With that being said, thank you all for tuning in. Keep in mind there's buttons down below. Feel free to click them, and there's comments. Put stuff there. Read your cards, know your plays, and fluff out.